I think I thought he was going to introduce me, but he had already said what I wanted to say. Amakuru. Yes. Muraho. Thank you. Murakoze chane. First of all, I will, what do you call it? I have something to tell you. Maybe a secret. Or, I don't know the English. There was a nice English word actually for that. Something I will declare tonight. That's the word. I had a very successful campaign, and that's why I became DG. It felt like I was running for the presidency of the whole world. To be honest, I look back and now say, is it really worth it to be the Director General of WHO and campaign for 2 years? I'm being honest. But what I would like to maybe tell you the secret tonight is the strategist behind this was President Paul Kagame. Maybe some of you know that I used to come to Kigali regularly to consult with him. So you should know who the strategist was. That's why I'm really proud of him. I really believe in him. So that's one secret you should know tonight. And then the other thing I would like to say is about, you know, the day I had this morning. I started with the genocide memorial. That was my first encounter actually, this morning. Good that I started my day with that. I had to reflect. I saw myself just as part of the human community. I couldn't actually control myself, and my sister, the Minister of Health, saw me. I couldn't control myself. I was completely out of control. I was broke into tears like never before. It was so powerful, the message I was getting from what I was seeing. You know, it just, for me, it continues to just shock me. And that's why when I was writing on the book, I said very shocking, very brutal, evil beyond words. I can't even understand it. I can't comprehend it. And for me, this is not my first time. I have seen it before. You know, I think about it sometimes, but it's always fresh. Why would humans behave this way? Why? Why are we so barbaric? Why do we just switch like that? Why are we so bad to each other when we're just the same species? Why would we even act lower than what we call animals? Why? I can't tell you. That's why I was so sad, and then again this question, just asking my own self, asking myself, challenging myself, who am I? I cannot say the perpetrators to ask themselves, because I'm just a fellow human being. And I was asking myself, why? I cannot ask them because I have to ask myself. Because I'm just the same person. Would I just behave this way, same way? When things go, I don't know, somehow different? Who am I? Who are we? Why do we behave this way? Just question after question. But then I said, okay, anything can be forgiven. Anything we can say we can change. We're bad, but we can change. But I said, but we have to be reminded that we have to manage the evil inside us. The evil inside us, inside each and everybody. We have to be reminded. We have to say from our heart, never, never again. Because the end result is what I saw. Skull and bones. When I said I will go and visit, especially the basement, and my sister, the Minister of Health, said, no, Tedros, it's okay, enough, you have already visited. I said, I want to see it. Skull and bones. I couldn't really control myself. I was so broke. I couldn't manage. I always portray myself as, okay, I can understand things, I'm calm. I was not calm. There was no way I could be calm. There was no way I could control myself. And I'm not just framing anybody, but looking myself in that mirror, being just one fellow human being who would do the same thing. The evil is inside all of us. That's why I said, this is a message to all of us. No one is immune. No one. Not me, not anyone. And that's why we have to be reminded about the evil inside us. We have to. And we have to manage that evil. We shouldn't let it go out of the bottle. When the genie is out of bottle, that's what you get. And the bottle is me, is you, is everybody. So when we say, let's not the genie out of the bottle, it's about all of us. All of us being careful. I'm sorry to be this way tonight, but I have to say what's inside me. I have to, because the evil is inside us. And we have to be reminded. I have to remind myself. I cannot remind others before reminding myself, me. How am I contributing positively? So that's the day. I learned a lot. I know it. I knew it. I saw it before. I have seen it. I have visited before. I have visited today. Same message. My commitment to control the evil inside me. That's it. So simple. The message to really save others. Not just control my evil, but to be prepared to help others. To help others, to save lives. That's what I learned today. That's the message again and again. And I thank Rwanda because it's saying, let's be reminded by our ill feels, our evil. We can only resolve it by confronting it. So let's look inside our evil, not just the skull and bones. Let's look, when I see that, just try to see myself and see the evil inside me. And what I said from the start, if you ask me to name it, the evil inside me, that I should control first. It's in each of us. And a constant reminder that anything can happen. Likewise, because the world is profoundly changing in a negative way. It is. If anyone wants a reminder, it's easy. Just open your ears and eyes, and above all the mind. Profoundly changing. And that worries me. That's why I wept this morning and couldn't control myself, but broke into tears. Because the reminder was not about the past. The reminder was about the profound change that may cause the same problem. We have to be careful. We have to be careful. We have to be careful. And it's each of us being careful that we can bring something better for the world, for the humanity, with the same species. If you ask me to choose anything in this world, I will not choose wealth. I will not choose anything that helps me as an individual. I will choose you. I will choose humanity. I will choose the propagation of our own species. We have to be careful. That's what we should choose. We're not enemies to each other. We're just the same. Check the genotype. Check the phenotype. We're the same. The difference is only the sick mindset. We could be different in our mindset. We're exactly the same. Check the genotype, check the phenotype. It's the same. I'm glad the ambassador of the US is my fellow biologist. That's what we learned. We're all the same, except the chemistry and mindset, the chemical reaction in our mind that brings the evil. Otherwise, we're all the same. And we have to be careful and help each other. No difference between white or black or yellow or green or anything if we have that category. And that's what Rwanda is saying. We're all the same, no divisions, no difference between us, nothing, just a mindset. So let's admit that we're one and let's care for each other. And the world could be a better world, and there is enough resources to share if it's about wealth, and we can prosper together. If the world is too small for us, and if the space is narrow, then we can have the technology to invade other planets. There is still space enough here, but if we need more space, we can go together to invade other planets, to even have a space in the moon. Please, that's the message for me. Maybe I had meetings after the morning visit to the genocide memorial, but my mind was completely stuck in just knowing myself, just me, just trying to understand the evil in me, but seeing that it can also be better, as long as I am conscious, as long as we're conscious. So sorry, I'm a bit emotional. By the way, this is my country, for those who don't know. And I proudly say I am Rwandese. And Ndagukunda Rwanda. And not only Ndagukunda, I say Ndagukanda Rwanda. That's me. Because this is my home that showed me, not just today, to know about me. That's why I say I belong here. Tells me the purpose in life. Tells me about humanity, about me. Reminder about the phenotype and genotype. That's why. Then from here maybe I go to the good news. Good news, I visited the health center. The best time. I was so happy. Mothers 100% deliver in health centers, 100% of kids immunized, 100% of the members of that sector are members of the community-based health insurance. Then Rwanda teamed with or full of hope and progress. Then I see the other side, the positive side, that anything is possible if we can do it right, if we can make the right choices, if our mindset is really the right one. I was happy to speak to the personnel in the health center, to the community health workers. That really inspired me. I was so happy. Always hope, but it's us who can make it happen. It's a choice. It's not a miracle. It's just a choice Rwanda made, and we'll progress that way. So just let's be reminded that whether it's evil or better progress, it's our choice. That was the other message. And I was so happy to see that hope, energy, and so on. Then I met Mr. President, and I was so happy. I don't want to go into details, but we have agreed he will be AU chair since January. Of course, he was informally leading the reform of the African Union, and very successful changes he had made. And he will be formally taking over in, this month. And we have agreed to do a lot, especially for Africa, because Africa is heavily burdened, be it by communicable disease, non-communicable disease, or natural disaster. So it should be my priority. And he agreed that we work together to have new projects to really push the universal health coverage agenda in our continent. I was so proud. So I had a very good meeting with him, and you may not believe it, such a generous leader. How many hours did he give me? Can anyone guess? 3. He's a leader. He's busy because he cares about Africa. He cares about the world. He wanted to discuss. He wanted us to make concrete progress. He didn't say, I'm busy and 20 minutes is enough for you, Tedros. He didn't stop until I said, okay, thank you, Mr. President. He didn't. This shows his commitment to his country, to Africa, and to the world. And I was so impressed. And many other specific agreements also. So I was so happy. Then a message to my colleagues. To WHO, we have 2 assignments. 1, we should help Rwanda. And 2, there are best practices here. We should sell it to the world. And I had a very good meeting with the UN country team. And the resident coordinator, Dr. Ndai, and his colleagues in the UN family, we had a very good discussion. And we have agreed with them that we have 2 assignments. Support Rwanda based on its priorities, because it knows where it would like to be and how to get there. And second, let's share the best practices we have here horizontally. And then my message to our partners, ambassadors, other partners here, that this country is doing the right thing. And we should really help it based on its priority. Could be political support, it could be financial support. When you support countries who know where they would like to be, and countries who know how to get there, the result is assured. That's it. Because it's the country's ownership, like Rwanda. When ownership is assured, you have commitment. When there is commitment, there is result. The result is for the country, for the people, and for us as UN family, and for the rest of partners. So please, support based on their priorities, and make sure that you are also acting like the UN family were promising as one. And the UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, is very clear. He's saying UN delivering as one. And for the rest of partners, the same thing. No need to go into fragments. We have to support this country based on its priorities. That's when we can get result. The same thing has been said before. I don't think what Mr. Guterres is saying is new. What is new is we have to really change the status quo. we have to depart from the status quo and do what we preach. We just don't preach, but make it happen, meaning getting things done and change the way we do things. So just asking for real action, which I fully support and which we have agreed today. So WHO will be ready to do its share to really deliver as one, UN family, and also with other partners to deliver as one, to really support this government to make progress. So with that, I really thank you so much. I did all my whatever because of the emotion that really ran high. But if I underline it as just one thing, just I came yesterday, leaving tonight, late maybe or early hours of this evening or this night, one thing I'm sure, just been infected again with inspiration and motivation. I saw the bad side, but what outweighed was the motivation and inspiration and the energy refill. And I go to Geneva with that. And I will do my best to contribute my humble contribution. And I call upon all of us, to really work with us to make a difference. And I know we will do it. Thank you so much. Murakoze Chana. Thank you. Thank you.